Accountability, acknowledgement, hatred, part 2. I left off on hatred because I wanted to specifically go into video 2, which is this video, with hatred. Accountability is one thing, acknowledgement is another. Hatred is on a level basically all by itself. I'm not the best looking man, and I've seen people who don't look as good as me or as worse as me or better than me. I kind of see all people for what I see them, face value. Now on the inside, if I get to know a person, that's a different ball game than what my eyes are telling me. Alright, and we all know the eyes are the windows to the soul. But I'm going to tell you this. There are some people that you can look at and you can get a sixth sense and feel complete hatred towards. I have a few celebrities that I feel that way about, even though they have done absolutely nothing to me and I don't know why. But I guess everybody has that, or either some of us are just more in tune with the earth than others. But even though people who haven't done anything to you, sometimes we still hate them. But we don't really know why. We don't really dig into that because none of us really go and talk to psychiatrists about, this person here, they're an entertainer, she's never done nothing to me, but I can't stand her. I can't stand the sight of her. Every time I see her, I want to choke her. Now, for the record, I do not believe in women abuse and violence of any kind unless it's in the script. But that's how I feel about a certain female celebrity. Don't worry, she's not from none of those new girls that are out now that I have no idea who they are. Same thing with another male celebrity, and he was recently in the news for something about a party somewhere, and some guy didn't get paid. And it was all over the place on that one. And again, I'm leaving his name out. I don't like him. I don't buy his music. He's never done anything to me, but I just can't stand him. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be people in the entertainment business that feels that way about me. I don't like Mr. Williams. All he does is kung fu. He's an artist, he's a writer, he's a director, he does all this stuff, and nobody knows who he is, and we don't care, but we just don't like him. Oh yeah, he's also mixed, which is another thing that people don't like you about. So my current assignment, sorry, Days of Our Lives is on. My current assignment for my college project, I'm doing bullying in general. I'm going to hit specifics, but I'm mostly just doing bullying because there's a lot of bullying, which comes from a lot of hatred. Why did I bring that into this conversation? I will explain that. Being a person of mixed ethnicity, and most society look at me and not sure, is he black? Is he Native American? Is he Mexican? Is he Hawaiian? Let's just put it this way. I'm a human being first. Alright? I am of Cherokee Indian, of black and white descent. And for those who don't know, if you are Mexican, and if you are Aztec, Incan, and Mayan, and Amazon, guess what? You're also Native Americans. Now, the Native American Rights Act in 1929, I had to get my facts in my head straight. In 1929, when Native Americans finally got rights to a country that they were born and raised in, when that came to be, it excluded Native Americans from below Texas. So if you were like Mexican and living in Mexico, you were no longer counted as a Native American. And if you go down into Peru, into South America, and Brazil and all that, those Native Americans are there, but they're not counted as Native Americans by American law. But biologically, they are Native Americans. The hatred for Native Americans in this country has been very well shown and seen with Standing Rock and with Mr. Phillips and all the other stuff that's been going on in the current events. Now, back on the track of hatred. There are a lot of people who hate people for the simple fact that they have nothing better to do. They just hate people. There are a lot of people who have that same issue I have with certain people that look at who haven't done anything to us, and we just hate them. I don't know why we hate them. I'm working on that myself because of the two celebrities. I don't listen to their music, and they haven't done anything to me. I respect them. I respect that they've gotten so far in this industry that I can't even open a door in. That I can't get arrested in. But I don't hate them on the level where I want to bring bodily harm to them. I just know that I couldn't be in the same room with them at the same time. because I feel that I might do something stupid, But I'm owning that, That's the accountability part. That's the acknowledgement part, because you have to acknowledge that we have hatred in us. We have to acknowledge that we don't take accountability for our hatred, and we have to acknowledge that we have these emotions that, if not kept in check, boom, they explode. Why do we go to war? Because we hate the fact that somebody is forcing somebody else to do something else that we don't count as morally correct. And that's fine. It just depends on what side of the track you're on. When you go into certain countries and their government is running this way and we don't think that's the way it should be, if the people doesn't think that's the way it should be and they call for help, we go and help them. Henceforth, Korean War. Henceforth, Vietnam. Henceforth, Desert Storm. Henceforth, Iraq. Henceforth, every place that we've been in that America has sent our fellow troops in have been because we hated the way certain parts of certain governments were being run, and we needed to have some stake in that. Alright? And we've done that. Some things are shameful, some things are honorable. It just depends on what side of the track you're laying on. When it comes down to it, the bottom line is this. Hatred starts from in here and in here and everyone out there. Now, here's the thing. If we look at the world the way children look at the world, there won't be any hatred. Yeah, there'll be a clusterfuck every now and again. A little glitch. I wanted the red crayon. No, have the yellow crayon. But I want the red crayon. The sun needs to be red, not yellow. What are you, painting on Krypton? It'll be some little tiffs. But when they're children, it's not hatred. It's just a little tiff because they don't know better. We teach children hatred, and they grow up to be adults who teach their children hatred. And then the hatred cycle goes on and on and on. I brought up hatred for this very special reason. Because in my project, I'm going to be doing bullying. I'm going to touch mostly on school bullying and the bullying of myself, because I've been bullied through grade school, through middle school, through high school, and in college. And sometimes by teachers in both high school and in college, and fellow students. I want to touch on that when I type this thing up, because the simple fact is that when we don't recognize it, or when we don't take a stand and make a difference in other people's lives or in our own by trying to teach people right from wrong, we allow it to keep recycling through. I don't have any children. I'm 45 years old. If I had any children, the first thing I would tell them in life and love, especially if I have girls, don't marry someone because of the color of their skin. Don't marry someone that you don't love. Don't marry someone for money, because all of that crap will blow up in your face. 9 times out of 10, no one can help who they fall in love with. So if I'm an all-pro black person and I have a mixed daughter who's half what I am and half what her mother is, and I decide I only want her to marry what her mother is. So let's say her mother is Filipino or Korean or Chinese, and she's half black like me, and I'm half Native American black and white. She's going to have an exotic look. Hopefully she'll have her mother's skin tone and my pigmentation so that she doesn't darken up. But, or my mom's pigmentation where you really don't get dark. She just stays off-white. But anyway, that's going to be a joke that my mom will get. But anyway, I don't want her to be grounded and stuck in, I need to marry an Asian man, or I need to marry a white man or a black man. I want her to marry somebody who makes her happy and treats her right. And I don't give a damn if the motherfucker's purple. This is how things go wrong in the world. We raise our kids to hate the people we hate. Or if they don't hate the people we hate, we don't allow them to marry the people that we hate. So we're like, okay, so I hate you. I won't let you marry my daughter. If I see my daughter with a black man, I'll tie her down and bleach her insides out myself. That goes on record for having read about stuff like that, because that shit does happen. A lot of women of non-color have left and been detached from their families because their families are purely racist. Hatred is something that breeds racism. But so is prejudice. Hatred breeds racism and prejudice. And all of us have a tiny bit of prejudice in us, even if we're not racist. There's other forms of prejudice. I don't want to work with that guy because he only has one eye. It's not his fault he has one eye. Could have been an accident. Could have got a shout out. Could have been born with only one eye. I don't want to work with that guy because he's green, he has 3 fingers, and he's a Ninja Turtle. Well, if he's a Ninja Turtle and you're working with him, where the hell are you living at? So I can come get that job. I don't want to work with her because she's secretly a Power Ranger. I do want to work with her so that I can be a Power Ranger too. You see where I'm going with that? And I first tried to break into this business. As I told you guys plenty of times before, there's a studio here in Virginia. And I guess no matter what I've done, I haven't been able to get a job in the acting world since the year 2000. It's 2019 now. So that should tell you, I've been at this shit for 19 years. The struggle is definitely real. There are entertainers that live in our city. And obviously, they're not that fond of me either, because no one here in Virginia is trying to form any kind of working coalition so that actors don't have to go to California to push burgers when we can push burgers right here. And I also stated, if there's a studio here, why aren't we in the business of making movies? I'll make a whole video about that after I find the clips that I need for that. But, for the most part, hatred is one of those things that you can mask, and you can bubble up, and you can hide it. But you can only hide it for so long because the one thing that's inevitable, the truth always comes out. What's done in the dark is brought to the light. You guys know the fucking sayings. For every time you hate someone, there's something else that's going to hate you or affect you in some way or another. So, when you're watching this, and I want you to think about how many times you've looked at somebody and you said, God, I just hate that fucker. Why in the hell did God create this person? Okay, first off, as I've been told 1,000s of times, and this is probably about the only thing I don't believe, is that God doesn't make mistakes. He makes everybody uniquely individual. When I find a person that told me that, I'm going to uniquely place my boot into their ass. God may not make mistakes, but people raise mistakes. I feel that that should be the same. That God doesn't make mistakes, people raise mistakes. Alright? Because of how you are raised, you tend to raise your child the same way, which means you probably wasn't raised by someone who had a freaking moral compass, or you just reached fuck it and don't care, because 20% of us raise our children to be badasses. And when they become out of control, the first thing we want to do is lock them up. But see, here's that thing. Had you been disciplining them from the jump, instead of raising them to do bad things, they wouldn't be badasses, they would be in control, and you would have some kind of moral compass to keep them that way. I'm probably all over the place with that, but, this video is about accountability, acknowledgement, and hatred. This part here is mostly about hatred, and these are the things that you have to deal with when you have hate. Self-hatred. I want to go to self-hatred, because we're at the 13-minute mark, and I'm not going to make a third video, so I'm going to just keep going. Self-hatred. Alright? Here is where self-hatred has hit me. Alright? Because of being mixed, I've had a lot of issues in here. Alright? Now, I can't speak for other children who are multicultural or biracial. I can only speak for myself and my experiences, which have not been all that great. And if we weigh the pros and cons, I've had more cons than pros. Okay? I've had more bad experiences than good experiences, especially on racist levels. In grade school, when I only thought that I was just black, I was set straight by black girls who told me that I would never be good enough for black girls. As I grew up, I found out that, sadly, the girl that told me that was correct, because black girls had a specific standard, and as a man who's mixed, I wasn't black enough, because wherever their families come from, most of these black girls only want thug people. So I guess cussing and telling girls that they're bitches and whores wasn't in my vocabulary. I cuss a lot. I don't call women bitches and whores, but every other cuss word under the sun I use, and I don't direct it at women. Now I will say, as I gotten older, I have directed the word bitch at a few women, and it wasn't just because they were colored. I have directed it at a couple of women who were not of color, but they did kind of earn that spot because they kind of were teachers, and they kind of did things that teachers are metaphysically and as you're coming through school not supposed to do. But the self-hatred was there because the first people who ever really showed me some hatred were black people. Alright? Second self-hatred happened, same in grade school, 4th grade, when a white girl called me a fucking nigger. She didn't use the word fucking, but she just said, James, you're a nigger. Just like that. And she had a raspy voice. Right up until I punched in the mouth and made her mouth bleed. It happened so fast. I hate myself for hitting her in the mouth. I hate myself for being a martial artist and being a boy and hitting her in the mouth when I was raised by my mom to not hit girls. You know, which is another reason why my big sister used to whip my ass all the time. Don't hit your sister. Don't hit your sister. No. But my sister could beat the shit out of me all the time. So I can take an ass whooping. That's not an issue. But the issue is hatred. And self-hatred is the worst hatred. But having it at home and having it at school, you have nowhere to go. Because kids, when I was growing up, we didn't have youth centers and shit like that. And if we did, your parents had to pay for it. My mom, we were poor. My mom was barely keeping us afloat when there was 3 of us. God only knows what happened when she added 4 more kids to the fucking mix. So times weren't always great. You know, and everybody's perspective of that is differently, but none of them see it from the other child's point of view. But as for us older children, we see it from their point of view because most of their point of view is shaded in lies and mystery and false memories. I remember asking my mom for $1 and getting $0.25 and being in the same room as my mom gave my sisters dollars and made me walk them to W&W Market. But I only had $0.25. They come back with big brown bags full of shit. I come back with a bag full of 23 pieces of penny candy. And that was because the guy was generous not to add but so much tax to my 25 pieces of penny candy. Alright? So anyway, moving on. Self-hatred went from grade school and home to middle school and home. Because now that they all knew I was mixed, now I had to fight that even more. Because, you know, you fall into certain categories when you're a person who's mixed. Alright? You're not black enough for blacks, or white enough for whites, if you're just those two. But when you're a triple threat, when you're Native American, black, and white, you fit nowhere. Alright? Mostly, black kids are like, James probably doesn't get it because he's mixed, so they would throw that factor in there. Or, James doesn't play sports because he's mixed, and not too many mixed people play sports. I just didn't like sports. Which also led to hate because people picked on me because I'd much rather draw a dragon than be outside catching a fucking football. I'd much rather be in the back doing kung fu than being outside playing football. I'm still outside, just not living your way. And you know, the other thing with self-hatred is that we don't teach our young children, especially our young colored children, so I hope you're watching, to do anything other than inspire to be in the NBA or the NFL. Let's not use that other 40% of your brain power that you are fully capable of using to do something better with your life. Let's go outside and shoot hoops, baseball, football, tennis. But let's not teach them to inspire to be NASA astronauts, doctors, lawyers, police officers, firemen. Let's not get our kids involved in that shit. Let's just get them in sports. Because that's an easy way. We don't have to babysit their asses. The coaches will do that. We don't have to feed them. The coaches will do that until dinner time. Then that's on us. We don't have to inspire them to be better because the coaches are going to ground in basketball, football, baseball, hockey, whatever sport they like. We're going to put them in there. Now, I can't speak for white families. I can only speak for colored families because that's all we hear in a black household. Yes, my family is also Native American. Yes, my family is also white. But they mostly just go by black rules. Again, self-hatred. Because my family doesn't want to acknowledge the Native American side on my mother's side or my father's side. They just want to be black. Well, Kunta fucking Kaye, we're not just black. We're also Native American. My father's mother was Native American. Her mother before her was Native American. There's no shame in that. My father's father was black. His father's father was black. We don't know much about that side. Just we know about Grandma Bay and Grandma Ada. I know more about Grandma Ada as I'm still doing research, but I spent more time with her than most of the kids because, according to certain family members, she liked the light-skinned kids better, which also built self-hatred. You know. Now, on my mom's side, they don't acknowledge the Native American side either until someone asks, are you guys some kind of Indian? Yes, we are. Cherokee. So, you know, self-hatred is a thing, you know. And self-hatred, it keeps you from acknowledging a lot of your shit. My mother's father was mixed. One of his parents was white. Either it was his mother or his father, but one of them was white in Nelson County. So, you know, we are multicultural. But most of my family, on both sides, only acknowledge the black side. Say it loud, we're black and we're proud. Okay. But you're not just black. You're also Native American, and you're also white. That would be on my mom's side. On my father's side, you're also Native American. Why do you not accept that? Why do you just want to be one thing? When you're all things, and all things are graceful and beautiful if you want to read and learn the concepts of these cultures. However, they all just want to be black. I can't change their minds. I'm not here for that. I'm making this video on hatred because hatred has been one of those things that is self-imposed in a lot of families. And specifically more families of color than families of non-color. And when I say of color, the only people I'm excluding is white people. Now, don't get me wrong, because I have white family too. And they're very awesome and very beautiful. And they are raising their children to do the right thing. Not be prejudiced and shit like that. And it's from my dad's... Basically, she was my stepmom. From her family. And I love them. And I love those grandkids and the great-grandkids. You know, we're fucking family. Hopefully they're watching. But anyway, the whole point... Well, maybe not the kids because of all the cussing that I'm doing. But anyway. You know, the basic thing is that when you have self-hatred, it keeps you down here. And it's kept me down in the middle line, but also it has made me a victim of other racial things, you know. And when we have self-hatred, it holds us from being who we truly should be, you know. I was talking to the lady on the computer earlier today in one of the Facebook groups, and she goes, "You're a black man." I was like, "Yes, I am. But I'm also a Native American man and a white man, all in one body." Alright? I have accepted all of my heritages and all of my cultures. Now, I can't make everyone else do that. And when I write my scripts, my characters are either of some Asian ethnicity and black. I don't ever really write any characters who are white and black. Because I'm not just white and black. However, I also know that I'm never going to pass as a white man. Unless we pull an Eddie Murphy and we slather my ass with a ton of white paint. Makeup. Whatever. But then I would probably get the fifth degree from Hollywood about, oh, well, why did this black guy pay this white guy? You know? Nobody gave Eddie Murphy any slack because they all thought that shit was funny. But if I do that shit and try to make a serious movie or an action movie, they're going to be like, yeah, Mr. Williams, we kind of really didn't like that. That wasn't really proper. Now, so did you guys know, that was not me trying to make fun of white people. That was me doing what Eddie Murphy sound that white people sound like. Alright? I know white people who actually talk black. Just to get that out the way. I know plenty of white people that I've talked to on the phone, and then I've met them like, "You're a white man?" And they're like, "Why? Did I not sound white on the phone?" It's like, no, surprisingly, you did not. And I've known many of black people who get on the phone and, hi, how are you doing today? And then I met them and they're black, but they talk white because Eddie Murphy has set the standard for the stereotypical white sound for white people. Okay? So again, swinging it on back to hate to finish off this video because we're at the 27-minute mark. Hatred is something that we lock in a box and we fester it because we don't know how to channel it. And then when we do channel it, shit like Charlottesville 2017 Unite the Alt-Right, whatever the hell that shit called, happens. That there was hatred at its best. You guys can Google that. You can Google anything about Charlottesville and that will probably pop up. It won't pop up about the good things about Charlottesville. It won't pop up about how we got great places that we can film movies. We have great people here that aren't all prejudiced, that aren't all about trying to kill people or remove some motherfucking statues that ain't hurting nobody. They're just collecting bird shit. And that's kind of how all that crap started. But when you Google my city, I almost guarantee you 5 videos are going to pop up about the young dude who hated people because of the color of their skin, who killed a young white lady, injured 150 or more black people by plowing his car through there, and for what? He came from Ohio to be a martyr to a cause that's not going to do a damn thing for him, and he's sitting behind bars for the rest of his life. 23 years old. This kid just threw his entire life away for hate. Hate. I want you guys to think about that. Hate. What do you hate? Why do you hate it? Is it something we can do to control our hate? Or the answers always start from within, my friend. Just like that song. The answers, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answers really do come from within. I probably totally butchered that shit. But anyway, the whole point of this matter is that until we learn how to do 3 things, just 3 things, take accountability, acknowledging what we do and did in the hatred within. Hatred, once we take accountability and acknowledge that we all have hatred and learn how to control it and learn how to channel it and use it to save ourselves instead of destroy ourselves or our fellow human beings, we may actually survive. But until we figure it out, or, sadly, for all you Mass Effect fans, unless there's a Turian invasion where the Reapers come to town, or the Cat, if you're an Andromeda fan like me, then we're never going to figure it out. So please, figure out what makes you hate. Once you figure out how to control your hate, once you figure out how to channel your hate, we all may come to a solution on this. I'm James Williams Jr. Thank you for watching. Plus I gotta pee.